it's important, I think, for all of us to understand that no matter what's going on, this connection that we have to keep coming back to it and not let this 3D dimensional life that we are living right now pull us back or even keep us still, because that's what it does. And to me, it's generated from the unconscious mind and all the things that we've been conditioned by and whatnot. So I think I'm doing relatively well, even in the midst of my insecurities, in my thinking, and all of these things that were happening from this to a bunch of other things that are going on in my life. Um, and I'm still feeling to some degree this connection. Am I perfect with it? No. But this is so important to me right now that this is what I call, I use a concept called the fourfold path, or the fourfold way of living.
Okay.
And to me, it's something that we all should have in us somehow, not in my way per se, but these four parts of being aware of who we are in our bodies always.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we get distracted because so many things pull us out. But
Yeah.
being aware of who we are in our bodies, being vulnerable enough for ourselves to be able to express that and take the risk in expressing that, no matter how we feel. And then on top of it, being able to trust this connection in the midst of whatever's going on. And some people, I think, have been able to do that to the degree of so much suffering. I was who did I studied this person quite a bit. Viktor Frankl. I don't know if you know of any of his work or whatever.
The name's familiar. I've never
Yeah,
read any of his work.
he was a psychiatrist who was in a Nazi concentration camp. And he wrote his book based on his experiences and got his theory basically from the experiences that he had, seeing it all, the death, to this, the all of the things that the people were doing there to them, and even his own people who were turning against him and other people there to sacrifice them for their own lives, those sort of things. And he was able to, in the midst of it, when he was emaciated, near death, seeing his friends die and his wife and child had died, to be able to do something within himself to feel a great degree of peace in the midst of that. Will I ever be able to do that? I don't know. But to me, the idea of all of us really connecting to this thing that's so real that much is of the utmost importance. So I just wanted to say that that's where I come from, and I want, if we do this again in a better way, that's basically what I want people to hear for themselves and to be able to heal. Maybe I can give, if we do this again, some of my experiences, some of the things that I've gone through in my 72 years here on this planet, and some of the things that I've done to heal myself. Again, not just to brag about it, but to be an example to people that anyone can at any age. And it's that real to me these days. So,
Welcome back, friends, to this week's episode of the Inspired Yogi. Today I'm with Ronnie Figueroa. Ronnie, welcome to the show. I am really intrigued. I looked over your website and some of the work that you're doing, and I'm excited to have this conversation today. So thank you for being here.
oh, thank you so much, Jim. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.
Yeah, do you want to share with our audience a little bit about the work you do?
Yes. Well, I am a licensed mental health counselor. I have certifications in Reiki, and I'm a certified hypnotherapist, a life coach, energy healer, a nutritional advisor. And again, I've had experience with so many different kinds of holistic helps that I try to have used for myself and try to give to other people also. Um, I've come from a background where there's been a lot of, I guess you would say, suffering, and that's a word that we use, right?
Yeah.
And again, suffering can do two things to people. It can either make us stronger, or it can really harm us even that much more so. And that's why I think it's really important for all of us as human beings to learn how to navigate through the suffering, which hopefully I've been doing relatively well throughout the years, going through a lot of these different kinds of experiences. Um, did you want me to give you some ideas of some of the things that I've gone through, or?
Yeah, sure. That would be great. So you got a little bit of background.
Okay, good. Um, well, grew up in the hood in a town called Paterson, New Jersey. It wasn't so bad in those days. It was home, and even though there was crime and different kinds of things going on that I saw, it wasn't like harmful. It was like my mom was there, a single mother raising us, two children by herself. And it was fine in essence. And when I look back on it, I said she was protecting us very much so. She kept us safe, my mother. Also, there was a lot of things that were there that she had to control to make sure that we were taken care of. Some of it was good, and some of it, I have to say, wasn't so good. So, were there traumatic experiences because of it? Yeah, and I won't get into too many of the specifics, but growing up there, I think I became more guarded than anything else as a person to protect myself, to help my brother, that sort of thing. When I was in my teens, I started getting involved in the drug and the drinking scene and all of that. Um, Having fun doing it. Here we are, teenagers, we're just doing all of these really crazy things and getting away with it. So we kept doing it. After a while, I joined the service. I joined the Navy back in 1972, right? Well, 72, and I'm 72 now. So that's, wow, it's been a while. Um, and it helped me quite a bit. Now, I didn't join to fight because I don't believe in violence. I didn't believe in it then. I, I wanted to join to be a, in the construction battalion. My friend and I were going to go in, then we were going to get out. We were going to start a business and that sort of thing. We felt if we went there, we could help people out in building things and that sort of thing. So got out of the Navy, and then there was still a problem with the drinking and the drugging on and on again, making excuses for it, not really seeing the depth of what was going on inside of me that was causing it. I'm going to jump a lot forward because I don't want to be too wordy in all of this. Um, uh, Up until my 50s, I had gotten some degrees. I had my license as a mental health counselor, but I was still drinking. I was still drugging, and I was getting away with it. I was also in good shape while I was doing all of this. So my ego was telling me, sure, I can do this and I can get away with it, but my body was deteriorating over a period of time from having this kind of process in my life. So then again, my 50s, I was jogging one day, and it's in Southern California, sorry, in Orange County, California, and I was on my way to the gym. I had drank maybe like a pint of alcohol, straight alcohol, because hey, I felt I could do this. I could get away with it. And then I go in the gym and I work out. I go in the sauna and I sit there, and I can sit here as long as I want. I'm sweating. I'm sweating. I passed out and I died. They had to resuscitate me. They dragged me to the hospital. I think my heart was going at 8 beats a minute after a while, and this sort of thing. I look at it today and I tell a little joke. I say, "Oh my God, all these people had all these experience. I didn't have any near-death experience. That's not fair." Um, so they had to put a pacemaker in my body because of it. And you would think that a person would just kind of like, hey, kind of wake up from it. But I was still so stuck inside of me and my ego, the selfish part of my ego, that I still didn't give up, and I kept doing it even after that. And something just kind of shook me. I went to a bookstore during this time in my life, and I was really distraught. Because I started to feel, wait, I'm really, destroying my life. I knew I was doing it, and I started to see that, and I'm saying, and I'm a therapist, and I'm trying to help people, but look, I just had all these issues. So I go to a bookstore, and I go through this one turnstile, and I hit the turnstile on the side of my arm, and a book fell over. The book was The Power of Now. Now, this was back, I don't know, 80s or so, I forget. And I read it because it fell off as, oh, what, it seems really interesting because I was looking for something. So I read the book and it was like, wow, hey, Eckhart, thank you so much. Had me to open up a little bit more to looking for more of that. So I started getting involved into all kinds of different things, into practices, into meditation, into spiritual healing, into holistic healing. Of the seminars I started to go to. I don't want to be a name dropper, but we know all the big names. I went to all of those. Unless, you want me to, I'll tell you some of the names. Um, and it was helpful, but there was still something inside of me that was fighting for some reason. So it kept going on, and I was learning, and there was ups and downs, but they seemed to be too high of ups and downs. And I'm going, why is it? I'm going to the seminars, I'm doing the meditations, I'm going through all of these things right now, but it's still just not working for me. And then I started drinking again, a little, not as much, because then I say I can handle it, that sort of thing. And then I think one of the things that, so I'll get to a point, I guess. One of the things that really helped me out the most, and it took some time, I mean, well into my 60s actually, that I started to look deeper inside myself and started to try to trust what was already within me, along with the helps that were outside. But I was so insecure much of my life that I needed to impress or I needed to get that help from outside. And then when I started to say, no, you have to come here no matter what they think or what's going on, you have to continue to come back here first and foremost. You do need people, but you can't go there in order to impress or in order to just fit in. It has to be real and it has to be connected to something. And then I started more and more with this trying to hold on to this connection with what people might call God, spirit, self-actualized self, truer self, quantum self, whatever you want to call that. There is this thing. And the more I started looking inside, it started to become more just not sometimes in my heart and in my experience, but more and more it was an experiential truth that just stayed there. So, of course, when I started to see this, I wanted more and more of it. Sometimes I would make mistakes and I would do it too much. And other times it was like, yeah, this makes sense. And then I started seeing more and more acts of synchronicity. I started seeing myself healing more and more. In my 50s, again, I had they said it was a heart condition, diagnosed that. All this can be verified. Diagnosed asthma condition, a seizure disorder, and even some emotional disabilities that I had for a while. When I was really crashing. Now at 72, I don't take any medications. I don't have any issues. They're saying that my heart is in great shape. I've taken stress tests. I'm a competitive athlete at 72 now. And again, I don't want this to sound like I'm saying this to lift myself up. I'm saying this because I really believe, with my heart of hearts, that anyone at any age can truly break through anything that they're going through, and I want people to understand that they have it within them, no matter where they are. That's how important it is to look deeper down inside themselves. We were speaking earlier about Viktor Frankl, a psychologist who was in a Nazi concentration camp, and he saw it all. He was one of the emaciated ones. He thought he was going to die, whatever. But he was able to, in his words, really have a degree of peace in the midst of all that suffering by virtue of looking inside himself and finding something, a spark of something that was real and good, and then just developing that on him with himself over and over and over again. And he developed his psychological practice based on that. Um, Jim, I hope I'm not just going on and just saying so much. If you need to interrupt, please ask me questions, because I could just go on and on and on.
Well,
Um,
I have tried not to interrupt you here, but there's many times that I wanted to. 'Cause this is a great story. We have a lot of similarities in our lives, which is really cool. And right now, I'm doing what you're talking about on a day-to-day basis, is working on staying present to the connection. Um, I've been the past few years calling that the source or whatever Jody. because the word God, G-O-D, if you say G-O-D, G-O-D,
Oh,
G-O-D,
wow. Yeah,
G-O-D.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of people that, I started that probably 10 years ago, and a lot of people, no, a little bit more actually, because a lot of people didn't like to talk about God, so I'd start the conversation talking about Jody, and it just lightened things up a little bit, and you didn't get all that negative connotation that often comes with the word God. But so right now I'm just trying to notice what takes you out of the connection and like notice when you're not connected to it. Because when you're not connected to
Uh,
it, that's when little things start to go awry. But if you maintain that connection longer, life's more pleasant, life's more happy, relationships are so
yes,
much
yes,
better. So
yes.
what do you, and you're working with people to maintain this, to make this connection and maintain this connection?
Yes, and that's my primary focus these days, more and more.
Great.
One of the key things with that, and I think it should be for anyone who's helping themselves or helping other people, therapists, counselors, pastors, whoever. Um, I'm finding it, yeah, the distraction parts. Hey, I still get distracted. Less though. I mean, less in the sense that I'm able to be in the distraction. And this is one of the things I think people need to understand. It's not a question of trying to get yourself out of the distraction. It's more of a thing of bringing the distractions here to visit this place that you're in. And what happens is some people might call, oh, bringing the darkness into the light, or just bringing the unconscious issues into this place. And the more I've seen to exposure therapy is another thing people call it. The more I bring all of this here, it's becoming more and more organic. I do feel the insecurities that can be stronger and that would want me to say, uh-oh, you may not be saying this right, Ronnie, so you better kind of cover it up a little bit, right? But more and more, and especially now with what I was telling you before our podcast, we weren't sure if we were going to do this because, all of the different distractions that were going on. But to me, I just want to present my reality first and foremost. And I really hope that people understand that I'm talking from this place of this vulnerability, of this all of these things that have been going on, which really was shaking me all day for the past couple of weeks. It's been amazingly how many issues have come up all of a sudden.
Mm.
And yet, even as I say that, I'm feeling it, but I'm also here. And I hope that's understandable that I'm still here, and there is this peace in it, joy, happiness almost. It's like, what's wrong with me? Am I nuts? I'm happy and I'm suffering. What's going on? Um, and I haven't been able to do that in the past, even the recent past. But by living this simplistic ideal of just being here, bringing yourself back to this connection, which in words, we can say words, the experiential nature, and again, interrupt me if I'm going on too much. The experiential nature of being here is the most important thing. And to me, that's it. By virtue, again, as I said, being aware of you being in your body, continually bringing yourself back here with all of it, the good, bad, ugly, as I call it sometimes, or whatever you want to say. And then just trust that as you're being vulnerable, you're reaching out that way. And to me, vulnerability doesn't mean that, oh, I got to show everything and I got to show you and tell you everything. There needs to be boundaries in our lives, right? But even those boundaries, the more you come back here and it becomes more and more organic, you find yourself organically saying better things. You find yourself more so thinking better, clearer, even in the midst of, and I might not sound as clear because that's a part of me that's going right now. Oh my God, all these things have been going on. And my laptop wasn't working. The phone thing that we're doing right now wasn't working so well. And I still hope that it is because I don't know if it's going to. I don't even know if my presentation is going it is good enough for to put out to people, but I still have to say what I feel in this moment, and I hope it's coming across for everyone where it can help them because
Well,
it's so
I
important.
I think what you're sharing is genuine and authentic, and you're really, putting yourself out there with your honesty. And I think that's important to share those stories and let other people that are going through what you're going through know that they're not alone. And sometimes people are looking for a way out, and you're offering a solution. And I think that's a great thing. And I applaud you because it's bravery. You have to be courageous to do what you're doing right now. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And the way you were saying it about how it sounded almost parallel to how I'm living this. Because hey, I want people to question. I want people to disagree. Because I'm saying it pretty blatantly. We must at this point, and there's these things going on this world. We've heard this before many years. And I used to hear, oh yeah, the world is changing, oh, the apocalypse is coming, or whatever. And this was like maybe hundreds of thousands of years ago. People are saying the same thing. I believe very strongly, could it be true? Could it not be? I can't say for sure, but I believe very, very strongly this time in 2026 is such a pivotal time where we could and need to, and we need to do it in a relatively short period of time, make a significant shift on this world, and we can do it, you know. And to
Mm.
me, the shift isn't us going out and fighting wars. The shift isn't some. It may help. The shift isn't protesting and fighting against each other. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Jew. I'm a Christian. I'm a this. I'm a that. To me, it's more of a thing of us coming together, no matter what group we're in, and truly making the effort. If there's a battle, the spiritual warrior thing, I guess, if you want to call it that, but we need to join together so much more adamantly to create these changes. That's one of the reasons I've started what I call an energy healing gathering. We have some people getting together, and basically that's all we're doing. We're basically saying what our power is, what our energy is, can heal ourselves because we're for ourselves and this planet more so than anything else. I believe that.
Mm. And how do people get involved with this gathering if they're interested?
Well, right now we have an email list of people. If people want to send their email address, we'll add them on to it. And it happens every first Sunday of the month. The next one would be, I think, May 3rd. And we're just collecting emails and we'll put them on the whole group list. We've been able to send this group message out when it's time, usually a link like this prior to the meeting. Then we have it's all on Zoom, and we just started off with a contemporary song and just a meditative time with some movement. Sometimes the speaker will come or guided imagery kind of thing or presentation for a while. Then we have a little breakout rooms where we go where people can be more intimate and sharing what's going on with them. And then maybe a closing word or two, something like that. And it sounds too simple, but I think that's going to help more than anything else I've ever done.
Okay, great.
It's
So,
a community. We all need community.
yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So, someone hears about you, maybe visit your website, and they're like, "Oh man, I want to work with Ronnie. I like what he's doing." How do you start to work with people?
How do I start to work with them? I will ask a lot of questions. Somewhat, Socrates is really cool about this. He had answers, and I could have an answer intuitively because sometimes I think I have an intuitive gift to see what's going on with the person right away, right?
Hmm.
But the most important part, when a person first comes to me, I want them to see that they can feel some sort of trust in me, feel that I'm a human who's here to help them, basically, in essence, to help them help themselves, but I'm really here for them. And to let them know right away, I'll be in my colloquial kinds of expressions sometimes, we're going to work together. Hopefully we can, develop some sort of rapport. To me, I want to develop a bond. So I'm trying to be with that person where they are, right? So that we can come together in trusting. And sometimes that takes a long time just to develop that. And if I see that's the most important thing, then that's what I'll focus on. Somehow to let them see me and my vulnerability can be very helpful, but also letting them see that, yes, even though I can be a real human being, I'm here to help you help yourself. And then, when more of the trust can be built, I'll be a little bit more direct because I think it's so important. It is important to do talk therapy and to do all those sort of things, but I want people, as soon as they can, let's start looking inside. Look inside yourself, right? And some people get it right away, and some don't. So then I'll develop maybe a little guided imagery or mindful training, as some people call it. And then we'll jump into that. And I try to keep it again according to where the person is, but in order to help them break through the limitations that they may not even be aware of. And usually, as we get along that way, I'll become more aware of some of those things. But again, it's really important never to say, I see that in you. Don't you see that? What's wrong with you? And you're pointing the finger. You've got to change that. You just said it yourself. You can get into all those kinds of things. But that'll only cause more chaos for that person in their lives. And for me, maybe the biggest these days is for me to trust that this will unfold. And the more I trust that, I've seen more positive results. It's almost like no, and I hope people don't take this wrong. It's almost like doing very little and more occurring because you're trusting something more within yourself to help you guide you through helping other people, if that makes sense.
It does. It's like asking and having faith in spirit that the right thing's going to happen. So you're just
Yeah,
kind of the catalyst,
yeah,
and I love how you said that the person has to do the work. It's up to them to make the change. You're not going to change their lives. They got to do it.
right. And I'll say certain words that seem to resonate with a person wherever they are at that particular time. Some of the words, ideas is the idea of, yeah, not just getting it or understanding it, but experiencing it. Get the experiential nature of this, because too many times, because of the way we are in our 3D kind of lives, we can't help but think it too much and feel. Even people who are good meditators and quote spiritual people are too much in their head sometimes, or
Hmm.
and thinking they're being deeper, but they're not. And that's where, again, some of these principles of vulnerability, with always being aware of you while you're doing it, risk taking, and then trusting in the process, even if you screw up sometimes, can help more than anything else.
Yeah, it reminded me of a phrase that my guru used to say. One of the gurus I used to visit and attend trainings with, he would say, analysis leads to paralysis. And sometimes we're just way overthinking,
Heard
so
that.
nothing
Yes,
happens.
yes, yes, yes. Who said that? Because I've heard that before.
Sadhguru used to say that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, he probably
And
still
he was
says it.
your guru.
Well, I mean, he didn't take me in as like a disciple or anything like that, but I mean, I read his books, went to his trainings, did his Kriya practices, and
Very insightful things that they say, he says. Yeah.
yeah,
We gain many things from that, yes.
yep, yeah. So that's great. I love how you're working with people, and you're introducing pranayama or breathing techniques and meditation as well to people that come to see you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what was that again?
I said people that come to see you, you're also introducing breathing techniques,
Yes,
pranayama, and meditation, I'm assuming.
yes, yes.
Okay.
The way that I do this is, and again, I try my best to look at it as though I want to help the masses more so than specific groups or a specific belief system. So I try to stay where that person is in respecting where they are in their belief systems or whatever, right? But to me, there's some consistent things. I think I kind of said this before, where it's universal. Breathing is universal. We have to or we'll die. Um, um, and it's so connected to us as with our minds, our bodies, energy, whole thing. And we need to learn how to incorporate that to truly experience it and live it all the time. And so one of the better practices that I've come up with and I try to help people with, it's basically a threefold thing. I like to keep things simple. I got the fourfold way, and that was a threefold practice. Maybe you get be older, you can't put that much in your brain anymore. But anyway, to me, the three things that are so important is being able to take a good breath with an inhale and a releasing. And what I try to encourage people to do is to come to their hearts with that. With an inhale, almost like you're again that aspect of awareness or visualization, seeing yourself coming into your heart with that breath, and then releasing with that breath, and then just being aware of the sensations that are coming to you while you're really, really bringing yourself back. And it helps you to get that the simplistic connection of staying here, and it can incorporate it more so. And you can do that all the time, no matter what you're doing. I would say don't do it with your eyes closed if you're driving a car or something, but no matter where you are. And it doesn't need to be where, oh, I have to get this real deep understanding right away. But things are going on in your brain that you may not even be aware of. When you do practices like this, even cognitively, and they've shown this, it'll start to change the different kind of chemicals that are going on in your body and in your brain, and it becomes where it's consistently being that way. So again, it's breathing in. Maybe it's a little bit harder too when you're just rattling off words like I am. But even as I'm saying that and I'm doing it with you, it's like I'm breathing all the stuff that we were talking about, even with the sinus headache that I have today. And I hate them. I'm bringing it in here, and I feel this peace. I feel this ability to handle all this stuff better. In to my heart and release. Am I trying to get rid of something? No. I'm introducing all of these things again to this place with this kind of a practice, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Or
Makes total sense. Yeah.
okay. And I just found that to be a really good practice. And I'm saying people need to incorporate, if you could want to use something like this or someone else's practice or someone else's meditation, that's fine. But I think we'll change things quicker and better within ourselves when we get our own individual, like you're saying, with instead of saying God, that other word that you're saying, it's consistent, but it's more individualistic that you've created.
Hmm.
That's what we need to create. I'm saying with the basics of it, you want to take a deep breath in at your own pace, bringing yourself to your heart with it, holding on to anything that you're going through, and then releasing. Always through the whole process, though, the awareness factor is so, so important.
Yeah, I think awareness is one of the first steps in your spiritual journey for sure. Um, those are
Yeah,
great techniques
yeah.
that you're teaching, and I'm sure it's helping a lot of people. Um,
Oh, I hope
now,
so. I hope so.
yeah, are you doing most of this? Do you have brick and mortar place that you're doing this? Is this working online over Zoom through your website? How do these trainings take place?
Um, the individual counseling, I do it here in my home office. I have I don't want to show you all the junk in the paperwork that's all here, but this is my little home office, and I have a couple of chairs and all my equipment here and whatnot. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
that's for the individual counseling. Group counseling so far have all been online.
Okay. Where are you located?
The town's called New Paltz, New York. Um, it is in the Mid Hudson Valley in New York. It's about an hour and a half north of Manhattan.
Okay.
Um, it's about a half hour away from the Omega Institute. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Omega Institute here in New York.
Yeah, I have.
And probably half hour away from Woodstock, the famous Woodstock, New York. Yeah.
Okay. I used to live in a town called Ballston Spa, which was not too far from Saratoga. Are you familiar with Ballston Spa?
I've heard, yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there's actually a Navy. I was in the Navy like yourself, and
Oh,
there's
wow.
a Navy training facility up there. If it's still there, I assume it still is.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, again, Jim, in the midst of it, of like when you first came in, I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope I can be ready for this and what's going on. And then when I stopped myself, it all just gelled. And as we're speaking now, don't get me wrong, I'm still reeling a little bit from different things that are going on. It may be somewhat obvious in the way that I'm speaking, but at the same time, I'm so loving this connection that I have. I'm willing to sacrifice my insecurities. I'm willing to take the risk and if I don't sound right or if I don't present myself right. And we're all going to be suffering. Oh, I'm going to say this part. This is going to be controversial. I hope that's okay. You can always edit it out if it's too
Hey, go for it.
controversial. Um, um, I believe very strongly that most of the leaders, spiritual leaders, or self-help gurus are not being as genuine as they should be. In other
In what
words,
way? What do you, yeah.
good question. In other words, all of the ones that I've ever either studied with or been with, they have not shown me, you know, the
Say that again, because
vulnerability of what do you
can
have
you say that
issues?
again? Because
Oh,
the
the
audio kind of broke
vulnerability,
up.
the vulnerable. Okay, I'm sorry. It cuts out. I'm so sorry. We're on the phone. This makes it difficult. I think more of the leaders need to show more of themselves, their own weaknesses and their own vulnerabilities, which for some reason, the ones that I've studied under or that I see on the internet, they don't seem to be able to do that. Some would say because they are totally enlightened and they don't have any problems. I don't believe that. Okay, but that's just my belief. I mean, I could be wrong, but because and I say that in essence because I think they need to more so because that would heal even more people, even though they're healing thousands of people, that would heal more, I believe. And I think too, and again, not to make another a cult or anything, but the ones who are really the more famous, who are up there with the more people, with the more money, whatever, why don't, and there's a question, but it's a question with an answer. Why don't they get together more often as a group to do more healing together? It doesn't happen, you know? Should it? I think so, but I could be wrong. And I'm really trying not to step on anybody's toes or disagreeing with that, but people can disagree. It's just my feelings. And I think it would really help change this world, shift this world even that much sooner if they were to get together in that kind of a way.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's blows my mind too, because at a time right now where I feel like we really need a huge influx of spirituality and the type of uh, connectedness that you're talking about, this would be a time for everybody to come together. Even like meditation groups, like I think of the TM meditators who still charge to learn how to meditate. It's like, why not teach as many people? Why not connect with as many people as possible right now to make a huge shift? Because the other side of this enlightenment is, pretty powerful right now. So I agree. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that it seems like a lot of time people get into a place of spirituality. Like you said, these people aren't talking about some of their stuff, but then now some of it's coming out or eventually comes out about people. I'm thinking, for example, like Deepak Chopra recently, allegedly, I didn't go in and read the Epstein files, but apparently had quite a history with Jeffrey Epstein and young girls. And man, it's like, that's messed up. And
It's you said it. It is. Yes.
and it's like, why aren't other people jumping on the bandwagon and saying, hey man, shame on you. What's
Yeah.
what's going on with
Yeah.
that?
And that's
But
what happens when we lose. too much of our own connection, like we were talking before, our individual connection that isn't going to just play into the hypnosis that can go on a lot in a way, being mesmerized by these speakers. And when we lose ourselves into that, we'll continue to defend those things, even when it most likely isn't good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, the more we can just come back. I mean, don't give up on anything. If you believe that, fine. But come back to yourself more so than anything else. Look deeper inside, create your own words or visualizations. You know, if you want to say God, God, if you want to say goody, goody, say whatever you want to say, but make it so experientially individualized. Once you do that more and more, it becomes more where you'll have a universal connection. Because for some reason, I didn't know you were in the Navy. I didn't know of your perceptions this way, Jim, but there's such a parallel connection. And I'm not just saying this to say it for people to say it, but that's what I honestly feel right now in our connection.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you 100%. I also think, as you're saying, no matter what you want to call that, what you're connecting to, is to make it a friend, have a relationship. It's not like this isn't something outside of you, it's something inside of you, it's something deep within you. It's something that
It
your
is.
whole life is sustained from. This needs to be your best friend. It's not something that's
Yes.
foreign. It's as intimate and as
Yes.
personal as you can get, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, and I believe, and this is hope, I hope people have hope, we can be on our way. And I do feel that. Some people, hey, you're like pie in the sky kind of thinking. No, I I honestly feel that people are getting together more and more. And we need to break through, I think, because there's this wonderful energy. But on this planet, there's also this not so wonderful energy. And it's constantly bombarding us, constantly coming in. The more we get together in a like-minded or like-spirited community, the easier it will be for those things to either be to go through us, for us to protect ourselves, not with a wall, but with just this power, this light that will deflect those negative energies, or they just won't bother us as much anymore.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. So, I want to put out your website. What's your website? So people want to look you up, learn more about you.
I just got it going not too long ago, several months ago, because a lot of what's going on right now in my life, it's like, boy, the universe is just saying, hey, it's time for something now, Ronnie. So I just
Yeah.
got the newer website up several months ago, and it's ronniefigueroa.com.
Excellent. Excellent. As we come towards the end of this podcast, I always like to offer people an opportunity to share any last thoughts or advice or anything that you'd like to put out there.
Well, let's see. I so much care for all of us. We're all on a journey. This journey needs to be more encapsulated within us as a world, as a community. Once we really start breaking through by opening up more, by being more vulnerable, by trusting ourselves, going in and healing those traumas, however you will be able to do that through opening up, through community, through trusting. Find, find that person or group that you can truly connect to, much more so than you ever have before. We need each other that much more so. And then you'll start to see in a relatively short period of time the shift that we need to have on this planet.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. I agree. Hey, man, we're on the same page here. We're on the same track. I love the work you're doing, and I appreciate you coming on and having this connection with me and this great conversation. and I hope it helps others as well.
Thank you so much, Jim, for having me. Thank you so, so much.